Have you ever really stopped to think about the absolute magic that's happening inside your phone or your laptop, or even what gets your car started? We're talking about the battery, that unsung hero that finally untethered us from the wall socket. So today, let's dive in and really unpack the science behind this everyday powerhouse.
Now, just for a little context, this is part 15 of a 20-part series on electricity from Virtualization Options LLC. We're going to be focusing entirely on the battery. All right, so let's start with the big fundamental problem that batteries were literally born to solve. How do you get power in your pocket?
I mean, think about it. We have these massive power plants, right? Generators that can light up entire cities. They are incredibly powerful, but you can't exactly stuff one of those in your backpack. So, what do you do?
And that's the core issue right there. For all the devices that really define our modern lives, from our phones to electric cars, we needed a totally different way of thinking. We had to find a way to bottle that electrical energy, to store it, and to carry it with us wherever we go.
The solution, it turns out, was brilliantly simple, at least in concept, a tiny, self-contained chemical engine. Let's break down how this thing actually works.
Okay, so here's the key thing to understand. A battery isn't really storing electricity directly. Nope. It's actually a device that stores chemical energy. And then it converts that potential energy into electrical energy, but only when you need it. The exact moment you turn something on and complete a circuit.
So, inside every battery, you've got three main players. You have two different electrodes, a negative one, called the anode, and a positive one, the cathode. In between them, separating them, is a substance called an electrolyte. A chemical reaction starts up between them, and it causes all these electrons to build up on the anode. Then, when you connect a device, you create a path for those electrons to rush over to the cathode. And that flow, that's electricity. It's a really elegant and powerful process.
But you know, this brilliant little device didn't just appear overnight. Not at all. It's actually the result of more than 2 centuries of some really incredible innovation.
Let's rewind the clock. The whole journey really begins way back in the year 1800 with an Italian physicist named Alessandro Volta. He created something called the voltaic pile. He literally just stacked up these disks of copper and zinc and separated them with cloth soaked in salt water. And believe it or not, this was the very first device to produce a reliable, steady flow of electricity. So after Volta's big breakthrough, innovation just took off. In 1859, we got the first ever rechargeable battery, the lead-acid model, that, still starts most of our cars today. Then came nickel-cadmium in 1899, but the real game changer, that arrived in 1991 when Sony commercialized the lithium-ion battery. That's what made our modern world of portable electronics even possible. And today, well, the race is on for the next huge leap forward.
And that brings us to what is arguably the most important development in this entire story. I'm talking about the rechargeable revolution.
So you see, there are really two basic types of batteries. You've got primary or single-use batteries. In those, the chemical reaction only goes one way. Once the chemicals are all used up, that's it, the battery is done. But with secondary or rechargeable batteries, the magic happens. That chemical reaction is reversible. When you plug your phone into the wall, you're applying an external current that basically runs the whole chemical reaction in reverse, pumping those electrons back to their starting point so they're ready to power your device all over again.
The impact of this is, well, it's hard to overstate. It's massive. Without the ability to recharge, the smartphone in your pocket, it just wouldn't exist. Laptops would be completely impractical. The huge shift to electric vehicles? Impossible. And get this, rechargeable batteries are even becoming essential for our main power grid, storing energy from solar and wind for when the sun isn't shining or the wind isn't blowing.
So, from Volta's simple stack of metal disks to the incredibly complex lithium-ion cells that are powering our world today, the battery has just been constantly evolving. And that leaves us with a really fascinating final question to think about. As researchers are pushing towards solid-state and other next-generation technologies, what new possibilities are just waiting to be unlocked? What's next?